This episode brought to you by Noble Gold. Check out this new free offer for my viewers. Spring is here, it's time for a dust off. The mower needs sorting, the garden looks wrecked, and the barbecue needs some work. You might enjoy doing these jobs, but if you don't or can't, you're gonna need to pay someone else to do it. And that takes money. Noble Gold can help you with that by investing in precious metals along with your other investments. And this month, Noble Gold is gifting a genuine, rare Carson City minted Morgan silver dollar with every qualifying IRA or 401k you do. So get in touch with the experts at Noble Gold. You can find that link in the description or pinned comment, or call 877-646-5347. That's 877-646-5347. And make sure to tell them DronetekPolitics sent you.
This thing you just mentioned on the vaccine, this is now going to become a public health problem. White evangelical resistance is now an obstacle, per the New York Times, to the vaccination effort. As you just mentioned, millions of white evangelical adults in the U.S. do not intend to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Mistrust of science, mistrust of et cetera, and also their politics. Now this is a public health issue. What can be done about that?
When you put this on top of the racism where they're calling, the coronavirus the Chinese virus and all of these other things that, their Lord and Savior Donald Trump said.
Is there a liberal evangelicalism that is counter to that? And is it of significant size to sort of counter what you're seeing in that sort of right-wing evangelicalism?
Yeah, I think there really is. And I think part of what's happening now is that you see a lot younger people and people who have been absolutely disgusted with the movement, disgusted with the racism, disgusted with the homophobia and everything else, who are leaving in droves. We start to see these numbers going down.
Hello and welcome back. I've read some comments recently complaining about my ads, and I just want to remind everybody that you can watch all my videos early and ad-free for just $5 a month by subscribing to me on Patreon or Subscribestar. You can find those links in the description or pinned comment. As you just saw, that was actually a professor from the University of Pennsylvania and JoyAnnReid, the resident Nazi-level racist over at MSNBC. And they were seriously labeling a group of people in this country a public health problem, based on nothing but their skin color and religion. Let that sink in for a minute. A major mainstream media outlet promoting the idea that American citizens, human beings, are a public health threat. Say what you will about Trump, he never ventured into that territory. First things first, the virus most likely came from China. And we usually name viruses based on where they came from. So anybody saying that it's racist to call it the China virus is probably getting money or has some sort of influence from the CCP. And I think it's really interesting that she singles out just white Christians when there are people of all colors in Christianity. But apparently it's only a problem if you're one of the white ones. What horrible crime are these dastardly colorless monsters guilty of? Well, they're skeptical about getting the vaccine. Weird, because I'm pretty sure there's another group of people in this country that are resistant to getting the vaccine.
I also worry about the virus. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm about the virus, about the vaccine. And then the other piece is when it comes, particularly in our community, black people, they might be like, I don't trust science, the science. I mean, Tuskegee experiments, et cetera. There's just not a lot of trust, and it was developed during the Trump era.
Yes, I'm very concerned about that. I've been talking about this in community, and I've been very clear to say, too often, science has been a tool of white supremacy.
Oh, right. How stupid of me. It's different when they do it. When black Americans are resistant to getting the vaccine, it's because science is white supremacy. Can you even begin to imagine if a major media outlet claimed that black Americans were a public health threat, or Jewish Americans? What if Tucker Carlson got on one night and talked about black Americans' overrepresentation in violent crime and murder that occurs every day in this country and called that a public health threat? Well, we already kind of know what would happen because it's already happening. They're trying to shut him down by pressuring his advertisers. But the point is, that would never happen. Tucker Carlson would never say anything like that. But these two apparently feel perfectly comfortable in targeting a group of people based on their skin color and their religion and calling them a public health problem. I wonder what solutions they have for this public health problem. JoyAnnReid talks about educating black people who are hesitant to get the vaccine, but then she turns very militant and hate-filled when talking about these other people. They never say it, but these two would be all for rounding up white Christians and dealing with them CCP style. Folks, I don't have to tell you that this kind of talk is very dangerous, especially when it's combined with this overall anti-white racist sentiment that's become so prevalent in the mainstream over the last few years. They literally blame white people for everything wrong in this world, and in the lives of so-called people of color, another term that was designed to separate white people from the rest of humanity. No good can come of this, as eventually the solution to the problem ends up becoming getting rid of the people. It all sounds very familiar, does it not? Like we've seen this in history before? Just look at some of these responses to MSNBC's Twitter post on this segment. It's very clear that the media has been quite successful in generating peak hatred towards both Christians and white people. Watch in what JoyAnnReid calls a public health issue. White evangelical resistance is now an obstacle for the vaccination effort. Fuck them, let their God sort it out. White evangelical Christians are getting on my last nerve. Glad to hear it. Time for a thinning of the herd. I can't think of a more deserving group. Let the mentally stable have their vaccines and leave them to God's judgment for being so completely stupid. Problem is, if they don't get it, it becomes harder to reach herd immunity. They also become breeding grounds for possible variation and mutations. Need to find a way to get that into their thick skulls and make them think it was their idea. Will mean fewer at CPAC. Clap, clap, clap. No vaccine, no plane travel, no interest to venues, theaters, etc. Don't give it to them. Let God take care of them, and don't let them go to the hospital either. You get the point. These people are filled to the brim with murderous hatred that they then project onto their political opponents. That's all for this one. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and then smash that notification bell. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow.